to our other top stories for you tonight. Tonight, for the first time, a moratorium on data centers in Louisville clears its first hurdle, and the mayor is backing it. The Metro Council Planning and Zoning Committee passing an ordinance that temporarily bans data center development for just a short time. Thanks for joining us. I'm Doug Proffitt.
And I'm Connie Leonard. If passed by the full council, this would stop any new data center developments in Metro Louisville for 180 days. The moratorium passed in a 7-to-1 vote this afternoon.
I just want to say the definition, I think, of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And I think today we're going to get a little more sane on this council, because I'm really hoping that my colleagues can come through and vote this through.
I see it's a positive for us for tax bases, and I don't know what kind of problems they caused other than they don't have a lot of people coming and going. They're just taking data in and data out. So this is, for me, I just don't see it, so I'm a no.
Well, the data center moratorium still needs approval from the full Metro Council to take effect. The first chance for that full vote would be next week, Thursday, August 13th.
Now, the mayor is supporting the 6-month moratorium until a new set of regulations are passed. Those regulations are in front of the community right now. In fact, that committee vote came just hours after Craig Greenberg threw support behind that ordinance. Our political reporter, Isaiah Kim Martinez, has the story.
I'm calling on Metro Council to pass the data center moratorium ordinance.
Mayor Craig Greenberg has given his blessing to a proposal that would halt any new data center projects in Louisville for 6 months.
Chair, you have 7 yes votes and 1 no.
He calls it a temporary fix until council members pass clear regulations on data center development moving forward.
And so there is no confusion to the public that there will not be any new data centers approved while we're waiting on these regulations to be finalized.
Local governments across Kentuckiana have passed similar temporary pauses, but some data center initiatives are not completely in their control. The U.S. Energy Department last week announced a $100 billion plan to build a massive data center campus in Paducah in western Kentucky on federally owned land that was once used to enrich uranium for America's nuclear weapons program.
It's going to allow these cities and counties to thrive in ways that they never have before.
Republican State Senator Danny Carroll of Paducah says he still has questions around the environmental impact, but he believes the windfall of tax revenue will benefit his district and others.
The school districts especially, they're going to be able to offer programs to grow quality of services, teacher pay, all of those things.
Elected officials on both sides of the aisle, including some running for higher office, will face the full brunt of data center development. They have voiced concerns over some developers not being transparent about their plans. Kentucky's Lieutenant Governor Jacqueline Coleman, a Democrat, is running for governor and had this to say the night before Fancy Farm.
And these data centers popping up all over Kentucky in these rural communities, with their secrecy and their shady deals, our kids and our communities deserve better than that.
The Paducah Data Center campus, which still needs certain state approvals, would be built in Republican Congressman James Comer's district.
There's a little opposition to that data center in Paducah, but Paducah is very receptive to the data centers. Paducah's nickname is the Atomic City. They're a nuclear town. We've got to know ahead of time which communities want them and which don't, because most communities do not want the data centers.
It's worth noting, guys, that we are also not only waiting on city regulations, as Doug mentioned, kind of going through the hearing process, public hearings, but we're also waiting on state regulations, right? Lawmakers were supposed to pass that this past session. As far as data centers are concerned, that will have to wait through 2027. Meanwhile, these center projects are popping up everywhere, right?
Right, and it seems like they're going to have to shake out a little bit for people to see what's coming out of them, what they need to worry about, what they don't need to worry about.
Yeah, because I think there's environmental impacts, and then there's we talk about jobs, but the question is how many jobs? Not construction, but long term to keep this running. So those are all questions that communities want answers
Also becoming very political, as we've talked about. Some politicians seeing it as possibly make or break come election time.
Both sides of the aisle.
And it is entering the mayor's race, as we're seeing. Metro Council member Shamika Parrish-Wright is addressing the data center moratorium. She is running for mayor as well, calling the timing of Mayor Craig Greenberg's support very interesting. Here's what Shamika Parrish-Wright had to say today. It is interesting that after months of this ordinance languishing in committee, after being tabled, and after weeks of poor publicity, the mayor suddenly chose to take a position on data centers only after I called for this item to be returned to the table. And there